Okay, you said you agree?
I do agree. What being an artist is being able to adapt.
Yeah.
Because art is the gap between a desired future and the moment that you're in right now. The only way to get to your desired future, the only way to get to a collective desired future of the world is through art. And it always has been. If artists just stop now and are scared off of this, like the smallest thing that just pops up, it's like, how are we going to innovate? Like this is happening. It's not stopping. The can of worms is open. I feel like as artists, we're just supposed to look at it with nuance.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly,
like,
bro. If AI gives us an opportunity to do less manual labor and do more of the pure creation process, if we're able to use AI to create a pure process for the artist to be in while they're creating, I think that could be really good. And I think if you reject it off the bat and just say, no, AI is bad because people are using it to make bullshit right now, I think that could be a mistake. I think it's worth it to look into it at least and be like, okay, what could I do with this? But if people just rejected it from the start, then it's the people that are lazy and just want to make slop that are going to make slop, and then that's going to be what AI art is.
Sure.
Thoughts on that?
If you don't have the practice of artistic creation, the generations will continue to get worse and worse and worse. Like, kids are not going to be learning why certain things are animated in certain ways or why things are done in certain things. You don't learn the principles as you go. It's what you're always taught when you're working, to like know the rules before you break them. AI is coming from a place where it doesn't even know that there are rules. It has no clue what's going on. And I have seen art that has been very good made with AI. And that's why I'm personally someone who doesn't believe like that it just doesn't look good like aspect of fighting AI doesn't work, because it will get to a point, and it has gotten to a point where it can make very gorgeous art and make very interesting things. I have found that it makes very interesting cyberpunk stuff because it matches it in its existence. It already fits that dystopian, and it has that lack of humanity that often gets in the way of creating cyberpunk. For sure. So it has certain things like that where it does work, but you would have to know what does and doesn't work in the first place to be able to make something good. It's not that the people are wanting to make slop. They don't even know what slop is. Like, they don't know the difference. Of course, there are people that are just like, make me a meatball cat, and that's just what it is. But people are making things that they're like, look how fucking good this is. I'm a genius. I don't need to study art. I don't need to do a thing. And you look at it and it's missing all these principles, all these things. There's all these things breaking that a real artist wouldn't see. And it's not like we don't have mistakes in our work. In my culture, we actually leave when you bead. We leave beads in to show our humanity of making mistakes. AI makes mistakes from places of nonsense. It has no human touch to it either. It robs so much of the artistry and the process and the soul of it. There's so much soul in creation and so much soul in making things. And I don't think it's a process that we should be trying to avoid. We've made a culture that is so bent on making things as easy and convenient, as comfortable as possible, and robbing ourselves of the discomfort of living and making and creating. It's just giving you the instant satisfying and like satisfaction without any earning of it. And that makes you just inherently less attached to the work you make, because you haven't struggled for it. You haven't really given it. It's just taking quite a lot from the people.
Yeah. When an artist is creating something, they have a specific vision in mind, and it's through them being exposed to different versions of what they're creating that they start to understand what they want, and then they work towards that. I don't necessarily think AI, using AI to help you generate those versions of it along your creation process is where it goes wrong. It's when, like you were saying, when people are like, build me this, and then they're like, all right, the first version, that's it, But if you develop your taste, then you'll be able to see the flaws in it.
I mean, admittedly, I've personally used AI for various forms of schoolwork to like summarize things and help me study. And in that regard, it is incredibly convenient. And I do agree with you that how much time you put into something is not a good metric on whether it's actually good or bad or whatever kind of value you assign to it. That does end up being like extremely subjective. But I think even still, if I see a piece, like maybe even on the internet, I mean, that just ends up bringing like the whole slop argument, which, isn't a very good argument either way. But like I sort of immediately disregard it, which I think ends up being a flaw on my part, or at least sort of the anti-AI part, where it just ends up being immediately disregarded. But I think it definitely like hampers the credibility of that artist.
Why would you say that?
Well, I think like it just ends up being, I mean, at least for me, it just feels that there ends up being a slight lack of effort. Like if I see something and I go, okay, how am I going to do this? And then I go, oh, well, I could just tell some AI to do it in 30 seconds, or I could put in the effort to do it myself.
I caught myself being lazy with AI.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lazy with AI, I will admit. But I think, writing essays or, creating an image or creating a product or anything like that, AI, I think, definitely can be used as like a tool, but I don't think it should be the final product.
Fair. And what would define it as the final product for you?
I think more, I mean, it ends up being sort of a bit of a blurry line, which is the problem.
Fair.
But I think sort of anything that's sort of done more than 50% human and AI, because I think there's like 100% AI is like an incredible like technology, and its advantages are incredible, like medical and all that, yada yada. But like I think the problem, like creativity, like humans have been creative for literally, that's what makes us human. We're creative, and I think like really the only problem is that it just ends up taking away our creativity by doing it. But I do see your argument where you say it can be used to like enhance the creative process. And if you haven't actually, like if you've already formed the idea, then you get to use AI.
I'm saying I think there's a workflow that's undiscovered.
Yeah.
And I think that if people use AI to discover their specific workflow for creation, I think instead of there being like this broad thing of like, this is how you paint or this is how you do this, I think it could make for better pieces of work. Because like if each person was able to explore their own way of creation, the way their brain works in that in their own creative way, then that could be a good opportunity. Versus now with school, for example, you learn to paint a certain way, you learn to do animation a certain way. I think that could be to someone's detriment a little bit.
Yeah, sort of the one track sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
Thing,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see that actually.
But I just think it's up to people to kind of explore those things, because if nobody gives a crap, then it's not going to happen. They'll just be slop. Fair. But if people start to think about it and work on it, then I think good things could come.
No, I'd agree with that.
But I kind of see it as like it's just another tool similar to kind of the invention of photography back in the 1800s. Like there were all these painters, and the skill in painting was highly regarded, and to be able to create super representational photographic paintings was like a prestigious thing to be able to do. And so when photography was invented, then that took away that aspect of painting to a certain extent. Like portraits, you could do photographic portraits, and so then that brings on like, oh well, anyone can do this now. And so then painting took all kinds of different directions after that, and so it's just another introduction. And same with like digital photography from film photography. It's just like the next step, and it's a pretty drastic step because of the way you can generate an entire project. But
people have always rejected new technology. So I think it's just this is just like a big version of that. It's like probably the biggest version we've ever seen, So
again, like you said, new technology has always kind of been rejected, and criticism and stuff like that. But I feel like in this case, the criticism is valid to me. I don't know. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah.
Like removing that human element. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that if you remove the human element, it's just going to be shit no matter what. You know? But like, yeah, there's no point. Like, why would you put zero effort or attention into something? There's no point in making that. So people, I feel like maybe they might start with that. They might try that. But I think that'll probably get eliminated pretty quick because it's just useless, you know?
Yeah.
I think people will still put the same amount of effort and the same amount of passion into what they create, but they can just do more. Like, instead of creating a picture, they can create a world in like a VR thing or something like that, where they have the option to do that. Doesn't necessarily mean if you're a photographer, since AI is here, you can't still do your thing as a photographer. Just means there's more mediums. There's more things for people to explore. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Do you feel like it's going to be like super saturated? Because I feel like it already is. Like even a few weeks ago, I was like, it kind of drove me in an existential crisis where I'm like, obviously I'm here for art, right? For like schooling for art and stuff like that, and you want a career path out of this. And again, like on a broader sense, it like messed me up like psychologically about thinking about like how much AI we're consuming. It's probably about, like, I would say, just guessing, like 40 to 50% of what you're consuming, right? And it's like now it's going into the ends of like what even is real and kind of shattering our reality. And that's why I'm like, when you go into the art world, it's like, okay, now I feel like it might end up like a pendulum swing where it's like, right, where it's like okay, now we're kind of seeking for human made invention.
I just think that's the case because it's so new.
Right.
Like, it's such a new thing. People are like, oh, this is crazy, I can make whatever I want. But I think that's probably going to die down.
Yeah.
And it's going to expand to even cooler stuff, because once people have a grasp on it, they'll start to get ideas, and then it'll just actually build into something that's actually cool, you know.
Okay.
And like,
Yeah.